Hey guys, right back here. 2 videos in the space of a week. It's a bit mad, isn't it? Today we're going to be going through my DTW, my Mk18 DTW. We're going to go through attachments, internals, externals, and its advantages, disadvantages, and how and why I'd use this in an airsoft game. So let's get into it. So we will start with the externals. We'll go top to bottom, or tip to butt, as a certain YouTuber likes to say. So starting at the front, we have an A2 birdcage style flash hider. Simple, no frills, no thrills, just works, protects the threads. On the right hand side of the rail, I have it's an ASG replica Surefire light. I'm not too sure of the model. You get these on Airsoft Era. They're decently bright, cheap enough. I've had this for a few years now. Decent light, it's in kind of a bronze colour. Then I have a replica DD front sight. It works well, it pairs my co-witnesses with my Mk18 EXPS3. So behind the front sight we have my Mk18 laser light, and I believe it has an IR laser on it as well. I'm not too sure because I don't own nods, but simple enough, it's light enough, and the laser and the light are bright enough and can be used. So my next plan for this is to have the Element dual pressure pad that I'm going to place on the left hand side of the rail once that arrives from China. Underneath we have a BCM dong grip. So probably one of my favourite grips now at this point. Very no muss, no fuss, just grab it and go. I have it so the actual cant is facing out instead of facing in, which gives you kind of a weird kind of grasp on the rifle, but it works. The rail, Daniel Defense Mk18 RIS2 in bronze, so it gives a nice kind of two-tone effect, especially with the patina paint job on the body. So it's really the front end. It's very simple. The rail and the barrel are both correct lengths. So the rail is 9.5 inches and the barrel is 10.3 inches. So she kosher. My optical setup: Aimpoint EXPS3 and an Mk18 magnifier. Very simple setup. Kosher as far as I know. But what I like about the magnifier is you actually manually have to move it over, and it's got a very tight move, so you won't be losing zero all that much. The reticle on this is different as well. It's not the crosshair with the 3 dots down the center. It's round, and then it has the dot in the center. Simple optical setup. Holds up to gas blowback rifles as well. I haven't lost zero on either of these when I was using it on my MWS. Magazines, I have 2 of these PTS EPMs. They work with the G&D body. They do need a little bit of an extra tap. They're a bit tight, but they do lock in, and then they do cause the rifle to lock up when it is empty. They're fairly nice magazines. I wish I had more of them. But I have 4 of the issued GI style magazines as well. So I have a mixture of the 2. So they're nice. The GI mags are just as nice. These can feed as light as a 2.5. I wouldn't go any lighter because you'll start chopping BBs. What's different, or what's cool about this rifle, I got this second hand. It has a Z-Shot magazine release, Z-Shot trigger guard, and a Z-Shot bolt release. They're all kind of this khaki colour with like this crosshatch texturing on it, which is pretty cool. It's a bit different. I've never knew that this setup actually existed. The Z-Shot trigger guard is metal as well, and it actually is like the Magpul one. It goes out, down and around, but has its little Z-Shot logo underneath. Pistol grip, standard A2 pistol grip. I haven't really bothered changing it out. I kind of just like it. I might shave down the finger rest and then cover it with bicycle inner tube. You know, be a bit, you know, cool, cool guy stuff. Yeah, so it's simple. Have a Magpul PTS ASAP, actual real one. Decently enough. It does when it's moving make noise, so just be aware of that. Buffer tube, I've actually taken the paint off it. I went with acetone and cleaned it off and then sanded it down a bit to give that Sistema looking polished buffer tube. Then just a standard B5 stock with a hairband on it that I just have, what you call it, you can use the hair tie for chem lights, or if you're bringing your sling back down so that you can keep it all nice and tidy. Very simple external setup, really. Very simple rifle. If you want kind of a mostly kosher build, you're gonna have to be light on the attachments. I mean, I know I have a flashlight pack box and a full setup, but you know, if you want it to be truly kosher, you'd have to kind of go off the reference pictures and stuff. But this is a Farb Farb Mk18, so very simple externals, no real major frills and thrills. I might get a tracer unit for it as well, because this will probably be my night gun, just because I have gas blowbacks mostly, so they don't really work outside in the cold at night. So this is the externals, so we'll go into. So internally there's not actually a lot going on with this. All I have is a 6.23 Orga widebore barrel that is with an Orga nub that gives it kind of very good range and consistency. I have a Sistema black cylinder in this. I also have a spare G&D. It's kind of an orangey gold cylinder. It's the stock one. They're both firing under the dual, so the gold one is firing 317 and then this fella's firing 310. Bar that, no major internal upgrades. One cool thing about this is this doesn't have full auto, it's 3 round burst. So that's a bit different than most lads who have like ridiculous full auto fire, but you don't really use PTWs on full auto because they go rip. So it's fairly simple internally. Go on to say how and why I would use this, and then conclude. So how I would use this. This is my CQB gun, my cold weather gun. This is going to be my night gun as well. It's short enough and it's light enough that I can use it in field or indoors. With the carbines and stuff, I love carbines, but they are a lot more difficult to maneuver indoors. Like this is a very short front end, so you can move it with the stock fully collapsed very tightly indoors. And then, you know, if I was running indoors, I could just put the magnifier out of the way, or take the magnifier off, or even just use straight up iron sights, take the EOTech off, and then just run it with the light. I do want to get a tracer unit for this, just so when I do start doing night games and stuff, I can trace where my BBs are going without using the flashlight. That's really it. This is kind of the jack of all trades and master of none. So I'd use this actually I would use this in a milsim as well if more of a rifleman instead of being in a recce section or doing SS stuff, just because I'd have the ammo there, I'd have, you know, decent range and consistency. It's light enough, and if I wanted to, or if I had to, I have the magnification possible. If I don't want to, you know, be constantly looking through the dot, you know, you can just flip the rifle to the side and look through the magnifier and it's a bit clearer. So you have options. As well, at a milsim, if you're playing at night, just take off the flash hider, put on the tracer unit. That's my thoughts on it really. It's a bit different than using a gas gun because it doesn't recoil and you don't have to cock the weapon with the charging handle. When the magazine is empty, you do have to hit the L alt release when you put in your fresh magazine. So the right magazine's empty, fresh magazine in, hit the ball release, and away you go. So it's a bit of different muscle memory, but at least you have, you know, a bit of realism, so that way if you do end up, you know, going into gas, you have that bit of muscle memory there, and it looks cool and a bit of realism. One other advantage to the PTWs is the interchangeable cylinders. So if you're going to go play abroad in the UK and you wanted, you know, an extra 20 or 30 FPS, because I believe their limit is 350, you can just buy a cylinder, you know, that, and you can swap it out. Or if for whatever reason one of your cylinders is firing hot and you have two 1-joule cylinders, which I have, take the cylinder out, give the hot cylinder to the marshal for the day, take the non-hot cylinder, put it into the rifle, happy days, you can go and play. So as well, having a spare one, you know, your entire compression system is in here. Your piston head, cylinder head, nozzle, and your spring guide and your spring are all in here. They're all self-contained. So if your piston does strip in one, out in the other re-chrono. It's an outdated system, but it is useful. It is very, you know, it's a different and cool system compared to an AEG. So it kind of has the best of both worlds. With an AEG, you know, they're plug in and go. They're plug in and play, which is phenomenal. And gas blowbacks do require a bit more work, but they're fun. They're very fun guns. So this kind of bridges the gap. If it's too cold and you want some sort of realism, cool. I'll take out my PTW. You know, I can get those reps in with magazine changes and stuff like that. So it is. Would I recommend somebody buy this? Yeah, I mean, if you want to buy it, cool, go for it. But if you know, there is a higher maintenance cost. Like, I work on my AEGs and my gas blowbacks by myself. With this, I had to send it to CRC Customs because I was just uncomfortable with it. Who actually did a phenomenal job. He did an entire rehaul of this and got it back singing because the pinion gear on the motor stripped and made the bearings kind of go. So it was like, he did a great job on it, so I'd highly recommend him. So that's kind of the entire rifle, my lovely little semi-kosher Farb Mk18. As always, guys, thank you very much for watching. If you have any ideas, constructive criticisms, or anything, please don't be afraid to put it down in the comment section below. Until next time, I've been Ryback. See ya.